Hello, girlfriend. It's your girlfriend, Dr. K of Girlfriendism International, and welcome to another episode of Gentle Confrontation. This series honors Women's History Month and International Women's Day 2026, whose global theme is rights, justice, action for all women and girls. This year's call is about balancing the scales, and while the world focuses on dismantling systemic barriers, we are dismantling relational ones inside communities of girlfriends because we cannot demand justice in society while reproducing competition between us. And we're doing this through gentle confrontation, care with courage, truth and tenderness at the same time, both and thinking, not either or. So today's confrontation is this. Is competition between women natural or is it conditioned? Let's explore. Truth one is about conditioning. So let's define that word. Conditioning is a psychological process by which repeated messages, experiences, and environments shape how we think, feel, and behave, often without us consciously choosing it. If you repeatedly experience scarcity, you begin to expect scarcity. If you repeatedly see limited access, you begin to compete for access. Many women were socialized to compete for attention, whether it was attention from the opposite sex or attention in pageantry or attention in classrooms where only one girl was praised at a time. We learned early that attention is limited. We've also been conditioned to compete for affection, competing with siblings for a parent's praise, trying to be the quote unquote good girl, trying to be the chosen one. Affection felt conditional. We've been conditioned to compete for opportunity. Historically, women have had fewer opportunities. And for women of color, that scarcity was intensified in workplaces, in leadership spaces, in academia, and it often felt like there was room for only one. So we learned that if she gets it, then I won't. We learned to compete for visibility. Now, fast forward to social media, everyone is competing for likes, followers, engagement, spotlight. So visibility feels like currency, and we absorb the message, be seen or be irrelevant. We also have been conditioned to compete for resources, especially for women living in colonial territories or communities where economic resources are restricted. Scarcity is not theoretical, it's structural. And when resources are limited externally, we may internalize that competition internally. So here's a brief history lesson. Historically, access for women was limited. Women could not vote in the United States until 1920. Black women were not treated as full human beings under slavery. And Sojourner Truth's cry, "Ain't I a woman?" still echoes as a question about humanity and recognition. Even today, women globally still earn less than men on average. So when access has historically been restricted, we were taught there's only one seat, one spotlight, one opportunity. And then scarcity became survival and competition became normalized. But survival strategies are not always liberation strategies. So truth two is about internalized oppression. So now let's go deeper. A system of oppression is external. It's the policies, laws, economic structures, and cultural norms that limit access and power. Internalized oppression happens when we unconsciously adopt those limiting beliefs and then turn them inward or sideways toward each other as girlfriends. So instead of saying this system restricts us, we begin to believe she is my obstacle. And here's the dangerous part. When we spend our lives protecting ourselves from oppressive systems, if we are not reflective, we can become so consumed with scarcity that we actually replicate it. We begin policing each other, competing with each other, withholding from each other. And we internalize the very hierarchy that we're trying to dismantle. That is why intentional reflection matters. If we do not examine what conditioned us, then we unconsciously continue it. So here's the both and. You can want to excel and not need to outshine your girlfriend. You can pursue leadership and support hers fully. You can acknowledge systemic barriers and refuse to weaponize scarcity against each other. Both are possible. So here's a reflective practice. Ask yourself, where did I first learn that there wasn't enough? Do I feel threatened when another woman advances? Do I compare metrics, income, influence, visibility? Do I feel relief when someone else fails? Am I fighting the system or am I fighting my girlfriends? This is relational justice because competition fragments power, but connection multiplies this. So try this instead. Instead of competing, let's collaborate. Instead of comparing, what can I learn from her? And instead of guarding opportunity, let me share this resource. Instead of shrinking another woman, how can we both win? Abundance is the practice. So if the global call is rights, justice, action, then action in communities of girlfriends looks something like this: creating girlfriend mixers instead of rivalries, hosting retreats where women connect instead of compete, traveling together instead of comparing, collaborating in business instead of guarding access. And at Girlfriendism, connection is not theoretical, it's embodied. We are responding to the global call, not just with words, but with our own Girlfriendism structure. Because connection amplifies collective power, and collective power is what balances the scales. The Girlfriendism Global Pledge says, I choose connection over competition. That is not passive, that is revolutionary. And the question is, will you replicate scarcity or will you model abundance? Will you become what you resisted or will you become what is needed? If this conversation stirs something in you, then that's the work. Gentle confrontation is not just content, it is practice. And practice requires community. So I invite you first to take the Girlfriendism Global Pledge. And for $1 a month, you declare your commitment to love, accountability, and liberation in communities of girlfriends across the globe. But don't stop there. If you're ready to go deeper, to intentionally unpack conditioning, to build abundance thinking, and to collaborate instead of compete, and even work one-on-one with me, your girlfriend, Dr. K, then I invite you to explore our membership tiers inside the Girlfriendism Global community. Because healing requires proximity and growth requires structure. Transformation requires investment. Take the pledge, become a girlfriend. Explore the membership that meets you where you are, and help us to build this new ism as we aim to connect 1 million girlfriends across the globe so women everywhere can live well in love and liberation. This was another episode of Gentle Confrontation, where truth meets tenderness, where justice becomes relational, and where girlfriends grow on purpose. Until next time, it's your girlfriend, Dr. K, always in love and always in liberation.